Hi everyone, this is Neel Raithatha, also known as the Wax Whisperer. Thank you for joining me in my latest video. We have here a patient who attended with bilateral blocked ears, and the blockage is mainly keratin, so dead skin full of keratin. So keratin is a protein which is found in the epidermis layer of the skin, so the outermost layer, and more specifically, the epidermis layer of skin has its own 5 layers, and the outermost layer, called the stratum corneum, that's where the skin cells are actually dead, and they are almost programmed to self-destruct when they reach the stratum corneum, and all the function of the cell is lost, all the nucleus, the organelles found in the skin cells are no longer, and instead the cell produces keratin. So keratin is also found on our hair and fingernails, and keratin is a very useful property to have in the ear. Not only is it hydrophobic, so it helps to expel any external water that may have entered the ear, but also interestingly as well, help the skin that it's sitting on retain its natural moisture. But it's also very highly reflective, so it helps to reflect harmful UV rays from the sun. So keratin is there for a reason. In most of our ears, all this dead keratin, so this dead skin full of keratin, as it dies and sheds, it should naturally migrate out of the ear like a conveyor belt. But in this patient, it's failed to fully migrate and it's formed into a plug. And the outermost layer of this keratin is still slightly adhered to the canal wall. You may be able to see that there, the more of the whitish appearance on the peripheral side of this keratin. It's still slightly attached to the canal wall. You can see I'm just separating that, so slightly adhered. I've used so far the new right carrot, the right ear hook, and also there's just their microsuction. So we've got the outer third, I would say, out. This plug of keratin extends more immediately towards the eardrum, and it's a bit more adhered, so I'm just giving it a little wriggle. And I'm slowly trying to separate this and bringing it forwards at the same time. So it's not, we wouldn't classify this as a keratosis obturans, for the reason that this patient didn't present with otalgia, so ear pain. If the patient presented with otalgia, so pain as a result of this epidermal plug, then you could label it as a keratosis obturans. And in addition, there's no significant widening, I don't believe. This patient attended a while back, so I'm just going to rejig my memory. I don't think there's any widening of the ear canal, which is also one of the hallmarks of keratosis obturans, at least when you're dealing with a keratosis obturans grade 2, 3 or 4. If anyone is unsure and new to the channel what a keratosis obturans is, it's an epidermis skin plug. So it's basically shed layers of skin that previously lined the ear canal surface that have died and collected into a plug, and this plug is forever getting larger and bigger, and it can start to expand and compress against the ear canal walls, the bony sections within 2/3, and actually can be very painful and begin to remodel the shape of the ear canal. So you can get widenings of the ear canal as a result. And I have got a specific playlist of keratosis obturans on my YouTube channel, so feel free to visit and you can learn a lot more about keratosis obturans. So where does and how does an epidermal plug differ from earwax? So this keratin plug is predominantly made up of keratin, so dead skin, whereas earwax has 2 other ingredients. So not only does it contain keratin, around 60% of earwax is actually dead skin and loose hairs in the ear. We call that the dry matter in earwax, and the remaining 40% is a combination of sebum. So sebum is secreted by the sebaceous glands, which are found at the where the follicle of the hair strands are. So these hair strands in the ear are only found, or should only be found, on the outer third of the ear canal, and that's because the skin that lines the outer third of the ear canal has 3 layers. You've got the epidermis layer, which I discussed earlier. You then got the dermis layer, and it's the dermis layer where these hair follicles are found, And connected to the hair follicles, you've got erector muscles, which help to keep the hair strands protruding outwards and standing up. And also you have elastin and collagen in the dermis layer. And then you've got your third layer, the subcutaneous layer, it contains insulating fat. So that differs to the skin that lines the inner 2/3 of the ear canal, the osseous portion, the bony part, because you've only got the epidermis layer. There's the dermis and the subcutaneous layer are both absent, so it's therefore impossible for hair strands to grow on the inner 2/3 of the ear canal. So sebum is attached to the hair follicles, and as the sebaceous glands secrete sebum, they travel up the root of the shard of the hair strand until it reaches the surface, and this sebum then dissipates, spreads along the surface of the ear canal and also the eardrum. Sebum is made up of organic matter. It's more of a lipidy, oily secretion. It contains alcohols, squalenes, cholesterols, long chains of saturated and unsaturated fatty acids, wax esters, and also in the outer third of the ear canal we have ceruminous glands. They are modified sweat glands known as apocrine glands. These are exclusively found in the ear and under your armpits and inner groin, and they secrete an oily sweat. So it differs to the sweat you normally have on your brow, which is more of a water-based salty sweat. This is more of an oily sweat. And once more, the ceruminous glands are found in the dermis layer of the skin, so you shouldn't have them on the inner 2/3 of the ear canal. And so these oily lipid secretions then mix with the dead skin, keratin, to form earwax. So that's what earwax is. But here, there probably is a bit of sebum and cerumen secreted by the ceruminous glands, but predominantly this is dead skin. So the composition of this would probably be 80 to 90% keratin, 10-20% the wet matter sebum or cerumen. So here, the right side, the consistency of this keratin plug is a bit softer and mushier. So just mopping up the entrance here. So we've got the outer, I'd say 2/3 out. I'm using the Rycorette here to gently scoot this forwards. The patient's ear canal is slightly elongated, it's quite narrow. Now, all of our ear canals should be oval shaped. They're not round, they're not spherical. So the height of your ear canal should be greater than the width, and that's what gives it its egg-shaped oval figure. It's like American football. And the height and width of the ear canal varies at different points of the ear. So it's, again, the narrowest part of the ear canal is in between the first and second bend. So to the right there, that cartilage is the second bend, and to the left there where the hair strands are, that's the first bend. So that's the first bend where the hair strands are, to the right, that's the second bend. And at the end of the second bend is, from there after, the ear canal is made up of bone, and prior to that, the ear canal is made of cartilage. So that region between the first and second bend is known as an isthmus, a narrowing, and then there's a second narrowing in the ear canal towards the eardrum, about 0.5 centimetre away. The greatest parts of the ear canal, it's just near the entrance and also at the eardrum. So the average height of an adult's ear canal can range between 0.7 centimetres to 1 centimetre, and the average width can range between 0.5 to 0.7. There's obviously a lot of variation there, and again, that varies along the juncture of the ear canal. At different points, it can get wider and narrower. So this bit here, you can see it's trapped in that second isthmus. It's lodged beyond that, so I'm just trying to wriggle this out. And these first and second bends in the ear canal gives the ear canal its S-bend geometry, also known as a sigmoid shape. So it's got the S-bends, and that is designed to help protect the eardrum. Now, I think I uploaded it on YouTube as a short video, but a very good friend of mine, he's got an extremely straight ear canal, and unfortunately his eardrum got punctured by his 18-month-old toddler that got hold of an oral thermometer, and unbeknown to my friend, he poked it in his ear and it went straight through his eardrum, and I'm due to see him later this month to see if it's healed. Hopefully, touch wood, it has. But if my friend had more of an S-shaped ear canal, it may have prevented that, because in order for that oral thermometer to puncture the eardrum, it would have had to navigate those bends, which it may have not been able to. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. Take care, keep well, and speak soon.